Middlesex won their second of 3 matches in this season's Clydesdale Bank 40 competition as they defeated Leicestershire at Grace Road by 31 runs with a very professional performance. Matthew Hoggard won the toss and asked the Panthers to bat first, which suited the visitors fine, with Joe Denley and Darby Malan getting them off to a good start with a partnership of 56 in the first 11 and a half overs. Both batsmen looked very organised and picked off their boundaries well enough. A bold beginning is so crucial in this competition. Denley was given one life along the way with a slice shot out to deep cover off Nadeem Malik, and that allowed Denley and Malan to put a 50-run partnership together. Denley hit 29 off 34 balls but perished when he was magnificently caught by Ealing's very own Ned Eckersley, a man who's represented Middlesex at second 11 level. It was a superb piece of keeping. That wicket brought Paul Stirling to the crease, and with runs already on the board, he could afford to play his natural game, which is to give the ball a good thump. This wasn't a flat and quick pitch, but the Irishman still found the gaps well. Malan has always been a very good one-day player, and in partnership with Stirling, he took the total to 97 midway through the 19th over. Stirling was then legged before to Claude Henderson for 20, getting out just as he was promising so much. But his wicket brought Owen Morgan to the crease as he finally returned to the Middlesex side and wasted no time at all in doing what he does best. He did lose Malan at the other end after he'd made 43 off 65 deliveries. Robert Taylor trapped him in front at 111 for 3 in the 22nd over. With that score on the board and plenty more batsmen to come, Middlesex would have had a total of around 250 in mind, and they were heading in the right direction with Morgan and Neil Dexter playing confidently. It's been a while since Morgan had batted, apart from in a match with the seconds against Surrey on Friday. He made 25 on his return to the domestic game and was clearly disappointed to get out, driving a ball from Josh Cobb straight to Wayne White in the covers. Each partnership thus far had threatened but then ended, which meant that the innings to this point was something of a stop-start affair, but the introduction of Gareth Berg altered the tempo a tad. He got going with an early 6 and then improvised brilliantly on the ground, where he scored a superb 100 at the end of last season to help Middlesex win the Second Division County Championship title. Berg obviously likes Grace Road. So too does Dexter, and he now picked a perfect time to develop one of his best innings of the season to date. This pair took Leicestershire apart in adding 70 for the 5th wicket in only 8 overs. Berg was out with 15 balls of the innings left, giving some catching practice to Eckersley, but his 43 made off only 31 balls was crucial to the Panthers' success. Dexter did complete his 50 before the 40 overs were up, and he ended on 54 off 41 balls to take his side to a competitive 241 for 5 off their allotted overs. With Stephen Finn opening up in one of the strongest Middlesex lineups possible, that was not going to be easy for Leicestershire to chase, even though Cobb and Ramnaresh Sarwan played some decent shots early on. These two have batted together a lot of late in the championship. This time they spent only 32 balls together, with the total reading 20. Cobb, a dangerous customer, dragged the ball from Collymore out to Berg in the deep to go for 10. The really big wicket was the one of Sarwan, who's been scoring runs for fun in the last fortnight. Here he'd only made 19 when he was bowled by Finn to a horrible shot. Early wickets were always going to put Leicestershire behind the rate, and there are few better bowlers than Finn to get them. 5 balls after bowling Sarwan, he did the same to Matt Boyce via the inside edge. Finn then made it 3 wickets in 7 balls and 2 in 2 by hitting Greg Smith on the pads right in front of his stumps. And when Stephen Crook came on and had Jacques Dutoit brilliantly held by John Simpson, Middlesex had done all the hard work by reducing their hosts to 49 for 5 in the 15th over. And it could have been even worse for them shortly afterwards, as White did his best to run himself out. He just about got away with it. Eckersley was now at the crease, and not for the first time he produced some of his best work against a county he could so easily have become a professional with. He hit 100 against Middlesex when these two counties met at the end of last season, and he just started to bring his side back into this contest. With the informed White also going along nicely, this pair added 66 in 12 overs for the 6th wicket. But any thoughts of completing this fight back were put to bed as wickets kept falling. On 34, White edged a big drive off Dexter to be caught by Denley. Eckersley was well held behind by the man who got the nod ahead of him at Middlesex, Simpson, to go for a run of ball 46. And Henderson mishit Berg to Ollie Rayner after making 13 to leave Leicestershire in big trouble on 150 for 8. They now needed to find 92 more runs for the remaining 8 overs, a tall order even if they had Chris Gale and Veranda Sewag at the crease, never mind Malik and Taylor. They at least kept going to bring that equation down to 56 off 27 balls. But Middlesex were not to be denied. Crook saw the back of Taylor, who chipped along off on 12. And finally Hoggard was bowled by his opposite number, Dexter, for 14, to round off a very good performance by the Panthers. Leicestershire were all out with 8 balls remaining for 210. That gave Middlesex a victory by 31 runs, their second win in the last week, to give them 4 points from 3 matches, the same record as the group leaders Gloucestershire. Now Middlesex turn their attentions back to the LV County Championship with a trip to the current champions Lancashire on Wednesday.